Hello, I'm Howie Shareff from You Call This Yoga, and welcome to another backyard blog. We're sharing our relationships with key partners in the community who are helping to advance our mission of empowering the community to improve their health with accessible yoga, actually enhance their health. I'm here today with a key partner who's been with us for several years in different capacities. Kristen Ray is a yoga therapist who lives near Garner, North Carolina. Kristen's been involved as a teacher, studio host, and program developer of our Yoga Fest Online 3 events. In addition, she's joined our team as part of our program committee co-chair. What else can Kristen do to help share yoga? We'll find out more from Kristen, who will share some of her background. Hello, Kristen. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Howie. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Share some about your background and what inspires you with yoga.
Sure. So just jumping right into it, I've been teaching for about 12 years now. And like you mentioned, I'm a yoga therapist. I'm certified through IAYT, which is the International Association of Yoga Therapists. And I've been in that role for a couple of years now. And prior to that, teaching yoga, 500-hour plus. I've done multiple teacher trainings and, in addition to, what I do, just basic teacher trainings and teaching students of, different capacities. I have an increased education towards people with things that, just needing a little bit extra help in their own bodies, different special populations, cancer, chronic illness, things of that sort.
Yes. Kristen, we appreciate that you've been part of our People Touched by Cancer program and also veterans who are out in the community. Would you share some of your affinities for veterans and people touched by cancer?
Sure. Well, that starts in my family. My dad is a Vietnam veteran in the Marines, and it goes as far back as, my great-grandfather, probably, if I really thought about it. So the military part is an important part of my life, just because of who my family is and who my father is specifically, and what happens to them after they come back from experiencing some pretty traumatic things, whether that is firsthand, secondhand, or even just the family member too, so often they get excluded and they're having their own experience with their veteran or their even person that's actively in the military. Yeah, so helping them with yoga is, one of just the smallest things I can do because it is so accessible to them, especially in the way that I provide classes, because you could only be able to be in a chair, right? But you could still do yoga, right? You just have to find the right person that can offer that for you. And that's what I really love about You Call This Yoga. And I'm happy to do these classes. Yeah.
And what else about the org helps your affinity to be with us? Anything come to mind?
Well, I love the team. I've actually never worked on a team that enjoyed working together so well before. And most of us have a volunteer capacity anyways. And so it's nice to be able to take what I do professionally, but also add a volunteerism aspect to it so that it is really for everyone.
Yeah, I'd like to share that our org has a concept of the power of two, and most of our chairs are co-chairs. And we've been fortunate to match Kristen with another yoga therapist, JJ Gormley, to lead our programs. So this is a major milestone for the org, and inviting viewers to learn more on our website. Speaking of teaching, what's teaching online been like for you?
The first 3 days were pretty interesting. The first 3 days, there was a huge curve. And, beyond that, it was just like learning anything else. It's tough in the beginning and then just gets easier and easier with experience. But it's been a unique experience because I don't have the person-to-person contact. We do have this screen dividing us. So you just kind of, for me personally, I've just had to let go of what sort of control I felt like I needed to have in teaching and just kind of let it be more open. And because of that, I think it is actually so different to just be teaching on the internet to people versus in person. It has its benefits. It has its benefits, like some people don't like to be around other people. So this is the perfect time to have all of this online accessible yoga, available to you. And in many cases, anytime you can go onto your website and access these classes, right?
A convenience factor has arisen.
Yeah.
Intimacy is sacrificed, but sometimes intimacy isn't easy.
Sure.
I mean, especially as a guy, being with one-on-ones or even small groups, people aren't always comfortable with being in that close of a setting per se.
Yeah, I've had a lot of students actually give me feedback that they think they've become stronger practicing at home because they didn't have the worries of the person next to them and that judgment that, just a lot of people have, and a lot of places you go into that are supposed to be for everyone, there always ends up being some sort of exclusion, and so when you're at home, you can't really, that doesn't apply, it's just you, the teacher. That's it. It's not who's next to you. You don't have to worry about that. And there are so many populations of people that are just not comfortable for whatever reason being in a studio, or even getting an adjustment from a yoga teacher sometimes, depending on that person's journey and where they've been, can totally keep them from doing yoga just off of one experience. So if you can eliminate these other things and just focus on the yoga, I mean, that's huge. And I've even noticed a difference practicing at home. I mean, I've been teaching in public for many, many years, but I have not had a strong at-home practice, admittedly, because I've been in the public, very busy there. So, it's been the great yoga experiment. And so far, it's had ups and downs, and I will continue to see that as we shift with our new normal. But I think the online home practice is going to be something that stays strong with people.
Yes, it's not going to leave, because society isn't going to be the same as it was before. And even the businesses that had brick and mortar facilities have adapted substantially. Even as a citizen, I'm anxious to go into closed spaces. I'm anxious to go in open spaces. So the whole market, I surmise, is different for quite a while. So I can appreciate that.
With the risky populations too, which is a lot of my population of who I teach. So there again, it's been interesting to have this element at home. Well, now we can all do this at home now, because we're already using Zoom or a different online media platform to talk to each other in so many different ways now that it's really becoming a new normal. So I only suspect more and more people will become more interested in the things that they can learn from home, like yoga.
Yes, and then the other issues become accessibility to broadband. So that's a societal. Well, I see I'm getting a nice white streak on my face, so I'm going to move over a little bit and put the white streak on my shirt. Great. Well, what's been your experience with Yoga Fest Online as a producer as well as a participant? How's that feeling?
It's been great. It's actually been surprisingly, just very smooth, except for our first one where Zoom decided to crash on Sunday. But, whatever, we learned from it. This is, like I said, this has been the year of roller coaster adventures, figuring out new things. And then when things don't go wrong, figuring out quickly a remedy. And, we bounced back from that Sunday so quickly. And it was just so great to have this team, like I mentioned earlier, that works together so fluidly. And we all complement each other, and I couldn't really ask for a better team to be a part of in any capacity. Like, can I take this team with me to other places? That's how great they are.
It's been an interesting process of affinity, internal team, external team, new relationships that are interested in helping to be part of logistics. And I'll put out there, our organization does seek more team for logistics. We used to be able to just make contracts and show up, and which was mostly my task. And now it's building relationships, training teachers, and having logistical support to make sure the webinars go well, which is what we've chosen just to try to make it simpler, even though it may not create a degree of satisfaction for the teachers in engaging their students and vice versa.
Sure.
However, this is where we are and what we can offer for now until it comes simpler and the teacher doesn't have to overwork during the session. Have any of your students had some recommendations for how their experiences have been enhanced at home? Any tips for practitioners that you can come up with?
The basic tips that I always say are, get yourself just those basic things that help you have a yoga practice. If there's some things that you think you need and that's what you think you need to start doing yoga, then get yourself those things so that you can get on with starting the yoga. So for me, that would be like something as simple as 2 yoga blocks or a few books. That could be, a belt or an old scarf you're not using, but mostly beyond those things, it's just having that ability to just go, today's the day and I'm just going to do it. And that's really just the hardest part, is doing it. And then once you've done it, you go, oh, that wasn't that bad. I'll do it again, maybe.
For me, I'm sitting on 4 seat cushions right now because my premise is 99.9% of the chairs in the world aren't proper for my body and anyone else's because they're not designed to be proper for our body. So therefore, I'll share that folks at home and anywhere consider cushions for your tuition and start with that and see how you can build a seated practice as well as a mat-based or standing practice. It's all life, and we're building skills to manage it. Now, I'd like to close and hear a little bit more about Yoga with Kristen Ray. What are your offerings these days?
Yeah, so I'm teaching 2 to 3 classes online through Zoom every day. The one on Friday morning at 10:30 is free through You Call This Yoga, so I hope you'll join us for that. And there's also a bunch of different classes that you guys are offering. So if you guys just want some free yoga, go check out the website. Otherwise, come to my website where I'm going to charge you just a little bit of money, but we're going to do classes a couple times a day, and it's super accessible. It's accessible from a chair. It's accessible from the floor, from the bed if you have to. It's no big deal, and we can always come up with a solution to whatever you think is keeping you from your practice, just a quick email.
Wonderful. And I'll share that I've taken your stability class, and even a prosthetic-laden arthritic fellow like myself can participate with props, and your pacing is wonderful, which is part of why you're cherished. It's not about rapid yoga, it's about creating a sense of safety within and without. So
Yes.
cherish that.
Yeah, it's about feeling better in your body than you did before you went to your yoga practice. And a lot of yoga practices can leave you with injury because we do move fast in some practices. And, the awareness is that, not all yoga is for everyone, but not all yoga is for everyone. And there's so many different kinds of yoga. So you just have to find the type of yoga that works best for you, the teacher that you vibe with the most, and hopefully you can find that in a combination.
Yes, Kristen, you're so spot on. What a shock.
Thank you.
So thank you. And what is the contact information you'd like people to use?
Sure, you can get in touch with me at yogawithkristenray@gmail.com. You can just search Kristen Ray Yoga on Google or Facebook and find my pages there, Instagram as well.
As well as at Yoga Fest Online 3 for the opening ceremony on Friday, August 28th, 2020.
That's right.
More to come.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you, Howie.
More to come.